What if the biggest asset was right under your noses and you didn't even know it? Let's talk about this today. I'm going to show you how you can take America's biggest problem and turn it into the biggest asset. We're going to dive deep into our financial crisis, into the macro economy, into the micro economy, and I'm going to show you a case study of how someone was able to look at their financial scenario, make a slight adjustment, and take back control like this. So if this has you curious, stick around as I unfold this to show you a better path forward. And I've had someone that's really wise say this to me in the last week. If you don't know what to invest in, here's a hint of what we're going to talk about. Invest in your debts. Founding Fathers, welcome back. Jason Sipple here. Blessed to be with you, excited to talk to you about your financial scenario, about what's going on in your life and how you can take back control of your money and you can build, keep, and create more wealth. I'm going to show you in this webinar, in this video, how you can do things just a little bit differently, and by understanding the game you're playing and changing just a little bit of your money psychology, you can change the game forever. Let's dive in. Build wealth through your debts and expenses. Take back the banking function in your life. Our dollars are worth less today and every day forward. And everyone is offering some kind of miracle solution, some kind of miracle investment, some new thing that is going to be a passive income creator for you to solve your, or maybe it's a lottery ticket. But today we're going to uncover the real solution to America's financial debt crisis. It is a crisis, folks, and it's not getting any better. And I'm going to show you why. So discover how managing your debt and building your wealth through your debts can lead to financial security and independence for you and your family. Don't miss out on the practical strategies of tackling debt, creating savings, and pave the way to a secure, guaranteed financial future. So welcome, Founding Fathers, to another Financial Freedom webinar where we show you the truth about money and privatizing bankings and provide you with actionable items to put into play. I want you to take notes, not make notes. I want you to write down. My goal, my wish for everyone here is that you're taking something away from this and applying it. Stick around as we peel back the solutions to our debt crisis. But first, let's kind of look at about where we are as a country. Let's dive into this together. So again, I'm going to challenge the way you're thinking. And if we're looking at our usdebtclock.org, if you haven't been there before, it's fascinating. But you can go look and understand that any government problem or solution to a problem created by the government is going to be a one-way ticket where we're in partnership with our government. And let's look how fiscally responsible or irresponsible our government was. If I put this up as a household income, you would see that every year we are actually paying out more than we're earning, which is the first layer or the first rule in financial awareness, is we want to make sure that our income is outpacing our expenses, our debts. And as you can see, our U.S. debt's at $33 trillion and climbing daily. And if we fast forward to 2026, it's almost $45 trillion, so $11 trillion more in just the next 2+ years. That's crazy. That is crazy. And while we look at this, well, that is how our government is acting with money. That is the responsibility and the systems that are set up with the IRS tax code, with banks, with Wall Street, with everything else. And we've been groomed to give up control of our money. So what does it look like when we've been groomed to give up control of our money and to assume all the risk? Well, if we go and look, what's our debt at home look like? Our debt at home is rising. It is rising and rising and rising. We're over $17 trillion in personal debt, led by credit card balances. We're over $1.13 trillion, higher than the numbers I put up on the slide, in credit card debt. And the average credit card debt is around, or interest rate is around 24%. It's 23% and change. And again, I'm sharing all of this because to make a shift, we must interrupt a pattern. to have something different happen, we've got to do something different, right? We've got to take different actions than what got us here. And so I want you guys thinking about your debt situation. Are you responsible with it? And if you're not, it's okay. I've been multiple times completely out of debt and then back into debt almost as fast because I didn't understand the rules of the game yet. And I want to walk you through step by step today and give you a real life case example. So stick around. I'm going to go through a conversation I had this week and I'm going to draw it all out on the board behind me. But our household debt has gone up, like I said, to our credit card debt over 1.13 trillion. And the credit card balances are absurd. The amount of money that we're paying to the banks and the names on the credit cards are just as absurd. They're called like Chase Financial Freedom. Financial freedom with some shackles and maybe like dropping you in a deep river with a 100-pound weight on your ankle. Like that is the kind of freedom that card's offering if we're not disciplined in paying it off every month. And they're getting you on the perks. I mean, I'm going to bring a stack of the offers I get, the 0% offers I get every week, and just how crazy the offers are. And let's look at our savings. Like our savings are like our credit debt is going up, our U.S. economy, so our macro debt's going up, our micro debt's going up, and our savings are going down. They're going down year over year over year. It says over the last 20 years, our savings are at like 8 or 9%, but that's not helping us today. That is not here and now. Our savings today are down to, down by 1.6 points from just last year. They're just over 3%. So of every dollar we make as Americans, we are literally saving 3 cents of that dollar. Now, I don't know about you, but saving 3 cents of every dollar you make is not going to buy you a whole lot of anything. It's not even a lot of money for fun stuff, for taking your family out for ice cream and different things, right? So there's a middle piece that I've been seeing with all the conversations I have. I have about 2,500 conversations and counting every day, talking to you guys, learning about where you are financially. And remember, our finances have two parts. I like to say there's the math, which is the numbers, right? Numbers don't lie. They can be manipulated, amortization tables, other things. But there's the money, and then there's the mindset. It is the real estate between our ears, and it's patterns. I watch my business partners, Chris Noggle, Brent Kessler, talk about the pattern shifts that they've seen and the questions they ask, and the pattern interrupts to help more people. Because remember, we're never making anything wrong. We're just saying, hey, the question for all of you, and pop it in the chat, do you believe that there's a better way forward? Do you believe there's a way that you can go from where you're at today and reach your big ultimate vision? That you can reach that 10-year vision of freedom, of having control of your money, of knowing you're creating a legacy for your family and those that you love. And with our savings going down, well, we're seeing the pattern. And we have an upcoming recession. Like the writing's on the wall. As much as we're getting talked to about how we're making a soft landing and the Fed's going to bring us down, I don't know if that's happening. Everything is inflated. It's a year of an election. There's lots of craziness in the world. And so when we look at the impact of debt in a recession, we know that debt is going to be the destroyer of that financial stability. And the types of debts that we're going to prioritize, we're going to talk about. But I want to talk about Parkinson's Law. Right? Parkinson's Law says a lot of things. It has different indications, but it's basically showing us our human nature. One of my teammates said the other day, he was taught by his mom to know that, hey, if you need something, you want to buy something, but you can't afford it, then it's a want. It's not a need. It's not a need. So the difference between wants and needs. And Parkinson's Law says when it comes to our income, that the more money that we make as our money rises, once a luxury is enjoyed, then it becomes a necessity. That want has become a need. And so our expenses rise to our income. And that's why we're going out and we're making purchases and we're paying for those purchases monthly and annually, and we're way overpaying, even for our cell phones. For our furniture, for the exercise equipment. And as I go through this example that I'm going to pull up, I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. So who here, what would you guys say is the best investment that you can make? Other than what I just told you in yourself. Give me some love in the chat. Let me know what is the best investment that you know, like, and understand where you can create more money with your money. What's that look like for all of you? We got any takers? Here we go. Some chat. We got some hand raising. A whole life policy, says Frank Hall. That's brilliant. A little bit of a cheat because you're here all the time, Frank. Real estate, yes. Real estate has made the most millionaires. We got other real estate. That's awesome. So we got real estate, real estate, real estate. Well, I'm going to show you how you might be missing a little piece of this that'll give you a better return than real estate, and it's a guaranteed cash flowing asset that you have, that all Americans have at this moment, the majority, 95%, which is not any of you. You guys are in the 5%. You're already here doing what most people will not do, investing your time, your energy, and your most precious resource, your attention. Your attention on what we're talking about today. And that cannot be underestimated. Side hustles, I love that. What kind of side hustles, Sarah? What kind of side hustles do the people in this group have? We had some on another wealth webinar I was watching with Chris, where we had a 72-year-old pimp. No joke. I don't know if it was a joke or not, but what kind of side hustles do we have in this group? What are you guys working on for your side hustle? Let me grab my pen. And remember, I showed you, I don't have one yet, but thinking of a dog walking, that'd be fun. I could see you walking down the street with 8 dogs, everyone giving you attention, coming over. That'd be super cool. So yes, the first thing is making money. The first business that we all need to be in is making money, right? This is right here. And let me know if you guys can see this okay. Right here on the income side, right? Make money. And how do we make money? Some of us have W-2 jobs, some of us have 1099s, and some of us are dog walkers, right? We're dog walkers, maybe we got cat walkers. We've got this side hustle. And the simple first level of financial literacy is we have our income, the money that we're making. Like I said, we got our ways that we earn income on this side. We got our W-2, our 1099, we got our side hustles, right? We've got dog walkers, doing flowers, and other things. And now the first level of financial literacy is our income minus our expenses. And this is going to be our Starbucks, our food, our fun, our we'll call electricity, right? And now if we have any Dave Ramseyites here, which by the way, love that Dave teaches us this first lesson. But I will say, I think the man breaks our brains too a little bit, because what Dave is saying is, look, you go income minus expenses equals your savings, which I wrote down there, but equals your savings. Okay? What Dave is going to tell you is cut out your $6 coffee and make it at home. Don't go out to eat anymore. Make your food at home. That sounds like the recipe for crazy. Like that sounds like a recipe that it's going to take away from some of your soul, from some of your fun. So instead, I want you to look at something else. I want you to look at what is maybe your biggest albatross around, that big noose around your neck that's an albatross for you that is creating more havoc than you might see. Maybe the best investment, if you don't know what to invest in, is investing in your debts. Now, listen to that again. Maybe the best investment is investing in your debts. And forget the infinite banking concept right now. I'm going to show you how you can do this and create a system to turn those debts into assets. It's just going to take time. And I want you to all to think about, so Logan says Starbucks. Yes, I know. I go there like twice a week when I ride. It's like $6 a coffee. I'm like, it's not even that good. But it's the company. It's my time to hang out with a couple really close friends and find out what's going on with their businesses, with their kids, with their family, their wives, things that we see, right? It's times to really talk about guy stuff. Like we need that as humans, that connection. So sorry, Dave Ramsey, I'm not giving that up. But what I will focus on is this piece, is our debts. And I'm going to go into an actual case study, but it's our credit cards, our cars, or trucks. It's our line of credit. It is these type of things. We're not going to worry about the mortgage right now, but we're going to worry about the things that we can take care of first. So let's look at a real case example. I'm going to call this guy, Leo, I talked to him this week. Super awesome guy. You know, father of a young kid, husband, just really centered, hardworking, took a lot of pride in his position, just really appreciated the time that I was able to spend with him. And this is what it looks like for a strategy session. This is what it looks like when we have calls as your money mentors to really guide you through your financial, and I'm not a financial advisor, by the way. I'm just a dad, just a dude, a guy that asks the questions, what are the wealthiest families doing? What are the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds? How is Disney built? How are those things that I can teach other people about the game we're playing? I love to say this. Einstein said it best where he said, hey, you have to know the rules of the game and then play better than anyone else. We don't know the rules of the game for the most part. You guys do. You're learning them. And it's the repetition that you're building on your structure that's giving you a better guide, a better playbook for the rules. So let's go through. I listed these one by one. Remember, I was making fun of the names. So we have Discover It Cash. We have Chase Freedom Unlimited. Chase Slate Edge. And I thought about that one. I don't know what it means, but I guess it sounds cool. It sounds exclusive. And then we've got the City Double Cash. Double cash? Ooh, it's like spearmint gum. It's going to double your fun. Double cash. How could you not want that? So as we went through this, you know, it's roughly $18,810 total. Okay, listing them out. You know, this is 0% for the moment. That's a trap, by the way. But right now, if you look at these, he's averaging close to 27.5% in his interest, right? So when I went through this with Leo, for the first card, the highest card, he's paying $177. That's the minimum due. He's paying $200. That's a difference of $23. I'm going to ask you guys a question, so pay attention here. So right here, the second card, the minimum's $126. He's paying $300. This next one, minimum is $40. He's paying $100. The next one, minimum is $0 for the moment. You just opened this one, just made a transfer of another card to this card, and he's paying $120. So there's some fees that cost to transfer this with that balance transfer, I'm sure. So when we look at this, my question for all of you is, in this $377, if you add these up, will he ever make money on that money again? Give me some answers in chat. Yes or no? Will Leo ever make money that goes to the banks again? Or is that money gone forever? No, the money is gone forever. And this is the game. So he's literally giving up this extra money every month to somebody else, to some other family. He, at the moment, with the action, is showing like, hey, I care about Chase Freedom and Chase Slate and City more than I care about myself. And that's not the truth. It's just, again, we got to know the game. And so then I asked him like his income, how much are you grossing? Because remember, we start with our earnings first. Is like, how do we earn money so we have savings? And now all I'm showing you guys is what a powerful tool that debt can be with a little bit of discipline, a pattern interrupt, and some new habits. And remember, progress equals happiness, so I don't expect a radical shift, but we can all do what I'm showing you on the board. And I'll show you some more stuff. So when I asked him, hey, what are your investments? Do you have any investments? Well, Leo is putting $50 a month into a Fidelity account, right? Tied to stocks, tied to the money market. And then he has $160 a month that is going towards silver, right? Robert Kiyosaki talks about how gold and silver are God's money, because there's not going to be more gold and silver. So he's taking that and he's putting it in a safe. Same question. Is either of these things, right? We're all two people. Remember, we've got Leo today, father, husband, big goals to own a house near his family on a big plot of land in Texas. And we've got his future self here. And my question during the call was, well, if we're paying 28%, 26% and change, 27% to somebody else, and there's a car payment here I didn't add, But if we're paying this money out to somebody else today, and we're giving up all of this money per month to somebody else, why are we investing in our future? Why are we investing in our future? Does it make any sense to take care of our future self, who we're going to be in 10, 20, 30 years when today's not taken care of? My answer to that, you guys can have your own answers. My answer is no. My answer is we have to take care of today first. We have to get our house in order. We have to build our financial foundation. So let's look at how Leo can take back control of this money. So I asked him, and the next question is, are you saving anything additional to the money that you're investing in Fidelity and the money you're putting into silver? And the answer was that yes, I'm actually doing pretty well. I'm saving another, he said another 400, but I rounded it to 423 because I'm sure he could squeeze, maybe one less Starbucks and one less something. They're a little bit more to squeeze out to get to his big goal. So we got him to $1,000 a month. When I added in the silver plus Fidelity, it gave us $587 a month that he has that was financial leakage right here. So this is leakage in his financial bucket. And so we come back over here and say, okay, well, if you're saving $1,000 a month, what if we did this? You save for 3 months, and this is without using the specially engineered whole life yet. But this is just how you can take back control without ever even having a conversation with me. You can do this today. What I'm showing you is going to be a way to invest in yourself by taking back control of your debt. So you have the first credit card, the lowest balance of $3,000. Remember, this is the 0% one, right? And it's $40 a month. So he's going to save for 3 months. He's going to pay this one off. So goodbye. $40 a month coming back here. And this money is going to flow back up into that savings. So now he's actually saving $1,040 a month. So he's already creating a little bit of leverage. Another 3 months, right? So now we're at month 6, and he's recaptured this one. Same thing. And we can do this over and over and over again. Do you guys see the game we're playing? How many of you are practicing something like this now? Like when you have a debt, if you have debt, maybe you guys don't have any, which would be amazing, but how many of you are practicing this right now? Just show me in the chat. Give me some interactive feedback so I kind of have an idea of where you guys are on your journey. And I'm going to introduce something else. Like let's say we don't put the money there, right? This is one of the steps we teach is, there we go, snowball effect, exactly. So instead, what if we open a separate account? We call it a segregated account. You can make whatever fun name you want. You could call it your wealth creation account. You could call it your fortress. You could call it your Federal Reserve. Maybe it's the Sipple Reserve or your family, the Palmer Reserve, or whatever you want to call it. But this is going to be a separate account. And let's open this at a bank, a local community bank or another local bank that has really good online features. Now, Chris, my partner, would say, hey, maybe we're using old school checkbooks. Maybe you're walking into the bank. He wants us to be a locked down fortress. I'm going to say that sounds kind of complicated. I'm going to make my optimization here and just say a separate that has an easy online feature. But this, now, instead of putting the money back up into your savings and mixing it with all your other money, it's going to flow into here. So now you're saving $1,000 there. Now you've got $80 here, right? And this is going to keep growing because you're taking back control of the banking function in your life. Okay? And now another 6 months, so 1 year, add another 126, 166, $206. So that's $2,400 in additional to the $12,000 that you're saving by just paying the minimums on the cards on the page before. Okay? So who here likes this approach that now you have your wealth creation account and all you've done is set up a separate account? Now, I want you to think about how much are you earning in that account? Is it 0.07%? Is it 1%? Like, give me some numbers of what you guys are earning from your conventional bank, from your local credit union. What are you guys making on the money in the bank? Do I gain like 1%, 0.07%? So what if instead of having this money grow here and you're going to eventually recapture all of this money back into your family's wheel of wealth, what if instead of doing this, or like I asked, if you're making 1% at the bank and that's generous, it's probably more like 0.07% of interest, why not put it into a specially engineered whole life policy that's going to have your money earning around 5+% per year? Now you got the $1,000 a month going here. Now you flow that into your segregated account, or the segregated account into there, and then, through here, you're going to take a loan out. You take a loan against your policy. And now you're creating leverage. You're creating leverage in a guaranteed appreciating asset. And this is where infinite banking comes in. Sandy's got a 4.5. That's amazing. It's still not guaranteed. Even 5% in the M1 finance, it's still not guaranteed. If you read the fine print, that'll change as inflation changes. It's awesome right now. There's not a more optimal place. But let me ask you, is that money taxed? When you earn that money, is that money taxed? Not guaranteed and taxed. And it's not protected. And it's not offering you any additional benefits for the ones you love. So let's look at some of the things that people, that Leo had bought. He had a car that we didn't go into, had the credit cards, that was the big focus. Some of us got pools during the pandemic because we wanted to have the luxury at home. We're going to spend more time at home. That's one of the greatest things that happened during that time, is we built these awesome things in our backyards and porches and places where we can spend more time with each other, grilling, eating, enjoying our family. And then a lot of us, how many of you bought a Peloton or some home weights and built whole home gyms? And most likely we put it on, a credit card or something. So what if we just go back to that previous page where we take back control of the money, of the debts, turning them into assets, but now instead of parking them in our segregated account, we store them here. And yes, we talk about how this is going to be a marathon, how it's going to take some time, but within a few years, every dollar you're putting into this specially engineered policy is going to give you more than $1 back. You're going to take a loan, and we're going to call the loan somewhere between 5 and 6% of simple interest. Remember, compounding versus simple. That's today, all 5 of the companies we work with are somewhere in that range. The money's going to come here. You're going to knock out a credit card, and then it's going to redirect that monthly payment. We'll call it $280 is going to go back into the loan and refill up that bucket. And so as we're cycling the money around and around, this is how you take back control of your debts and turn them into wealth. Remember, if you don't know what to invest in, start looking at your debt first. Look at the amount of cash flow and the amount of interest going to someone else. This is the biggest thing that we're missing. 34% of the money that we are earning is getting paid in interest to someone else. Remember, to build wealth, you're either earning interest or you're giving it away. I'm going to go and show you a tool. Oh yeah, let's connect this to a tool that you guys can all use. So think about this, like which way should you go? I talked about whole life. You see the little thing behind me. Whole life being a valuable tool, that infinite banking with a mutually owned dividend paying whole life company that can be engineered just for you. We talked about how that was a debt snowball. Maybe it's a debt avalanche. Maybe it is paying off the high interest first. What is going to be the math part of this that is going to be able to be the quickest way for you to get out of debt, for the most efficient, for you to keep the most money in your family? Sarah just paid off her Peloton. It's awesome. Give it up. And hopefully you're using the Peloton too, Sarah. I want to know, how much are you riding, training? Just not for this conversation, but curious. But looking at this, how many of you, give me a show of eyes in the chat, how many of you would like to be able to mathematically, before anything's ever implemented, see what is going to be the most efficient way to turn your debts into assets? To really understand how much money you're going to recapture, how long it's going to take to get out of debt, how long it's going to take to pay all that back and start going into the next phase of wealth creation. In real estate, like everyone here said, is something that most people I speak with say, hey, I want to either do fix and flips, I want to do wholesaling, I want to do, I do multifamilies, I want to do hard money lending. They're all things available to work just like the banks do, just like these life insurance companies do. They do a lot of investment in commercial properties. And so how many of you, show of eyes, would want to know mathematically how to pay that off? Well, what if you knew once we set up the plan, once we had everything categorized, that during your application process, you're going to receive a debt blaster. And it's going to show you all of these tools. It's going to show you how long it would take to be debt-free if you were just paying it back, right? It's going to take 4.66 years for this individual. This isn't Leo's. I didn't have time to plug that in, but this is just a debt profile. This is always specific to you. Every situation is different, and it'll always be a different result. But the one thing I can tell you, guaranteed, is we have not run one of these yet where IBC plus a snowball or avalanche or highest interest first. Always with IBC, it's always the and asset of IBC that gives you the most punch. Right here, if you look, like this was the winner, right? Time to pay all third-party debts, 3.5 years. Time to pay the policy loan back, another 13 months. You're debt-free in 4.58 years. How many of you would want to be debt-free and know you brought all of that third-party money that was going out the door back in the door? And then you're going to have a cash value, and then you also have the second guarantee, which is the cherry on top. So this is how we turn our debts, to bring it full circle, this is how we turn our debts by having some discipline, by focusing on our discipline, focusing on our debts, and turning them into assets. We can use the infinite banking process, right? The process of taking back control of the banking function in our life to statistically, mathematically, and emotionally just feel better about life. You see how this works, and that's given to you. That free analysis is given to you as you go through the application process for your specially engineered whole life. So a couple of the questions, the frequently asked questions I get, I just want to address these, is, well, one, I just had this in my last call. Well, one is, well, this is awesome, Jason. Why do you guys give us so many tools? Why do you give us someone that's going to hold our hand after the policy is implemented? Why do you have a team that's going to show us a debt blaster or a gain projector? What's in it for you guys? Why would you do that? And people are so used to being taken advantage of that they get a little weirded out, and they're like, well, hey, don't worry about me, guys. I get compensated, we get compensated, the money mentors, from the smaller part of whatever we're designing. And why would we give up that 60 to 70% commission to make sure that we're helping you achieve your goals? Well, one, it's the right thing to do. You have to give to get. But two, is you're going to come back. We understand when we build that relationship, when we are who we say we are, that you guys are going to come back and do additional policies. Another question I get is, if there's tax on the savings interest. I covered it a little bit earlier, but when you're saving and those interest rates between 2 and 5+%, you're taxed on that at the end of the year, right? That's like a capital gain. You're getting money, you're going to get taxed on that. The government always wants its cut. So when it goes into your policy, it's after tax money. So you're taxed once and never again. The loans are tax-free, right? If you ever do withdrawals later, they're tax-free up to a point. All your dividend payments, everything inside that policy is tax-free growth, and it's guaranteed growth. It'll never be worth less the next day than it is today. Every day it's growing because of that guaranteed contractual rate. And so if we go and we look, what's next? You guys have been here. You've given me your time, your energy. Well, what's next? How could you either take action, start turning your debts into assets, or just keep learning, keep around the campfire, keep learning about your financial situation and how we can meet you both mathematically and mentally where you're at today to help you solve that problem. You can either book a call with me or just continue learning, but any other questions that you all have here today, I wasn't sure how long this would take. We could have made it a lot longer. I can talk about this stuff forever, but what other questions do you have for me? If you'd like to book a call, I'll put the link in the chat as well. Again, you guys are in the rare percentage of folks who are investing in yourself. You're in the 5%. You're in the minority. So just know that you're already doing the right thing. If you feel a little confused, it's okay. This is not taught, it's caught. R. Nelson Nash coined that, but I use it all the time. This is not easy, even though it's simple. And why isn't it easy? because it's like riding a backwards bicycle. It's like doing something different. It's a 180 switch. This may be a silly question, but how long do you keep your payments into your segregated bank? If you're talking about your individual segregated account, like the example before we got to IBC, well, as long as that debt was going to be, is what I would say. Like if you have a 5-year car loan that you pay off and it's $500 a month, and you have 2 years left, I would pay that for 2 years. Chris, once he sets up that automatic repayment, just keeps it going because he gets in the habit of paying himself first. Logan, we're really switching our mindsets from paying everyone else first to taking care of ourselves. So it's definitely not a silly question. If it's along the lines of how long will you put into the segregated account to make a premium deposit, like if you include infinite banking in your plan, then it's the same answer. You don't want to ever stop putting money into that account. Now you can actually stop it after 7 or 10 years and stop putting money into it. But when you really understand this process, you won't want to stop it, because when you understand that, hey, after 10 years, every dollar you're putting into this, you're going to be able to borrow 2. Or 20 years will give you 3 or 4, just depending on how you're treating the policy and the banking purpose of the policy throughout. So great question. You guys are rock stars sticking around for a few extra minutes. Have a blessed rest of your Thursday. Happy summer solstice. It is the first day of summer, longest day of the year. Enjoy it. It's a new season. Talk to you guys next week. There we have it. We went through and showed you how you could take back control of your debts and turn your debts into your greatest investment. Because why? They are guaranteed cash flow that is leaving your wheel of wealth today forever. So let's recapture it, set up your segregated account, or take the optimization to set up your infinite banking process and use your segregated account to save your money, to pay off your debt, and to recapture and recycle all of that interest back into your family. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe, smash that like button, and ring the bell so you're alerted for new content. Watch my next video right here, and I'll see you soon in that next video. Keep learning, keep investing in your financial future by understanding the rules of the game and applying the infinite banking process like we teach it here at the Money Multiplier. See you soon.